ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms episode from your very own Shappy Gaming. If you haven't already, do be sure to hit that subscribe button right over there, bottom right hand corner, and hit the bell so you get notified when new episodes come out. Today we are going to be talking about something very exciting. Lilith has talked about for a while, are we going to have a new civilization? What's it going to look like? And today they released details on the two new commanders that will be coming and joining the Egypt civilization. We don't yet have the details on what the Egypt civilization buffs are going to be, but we do have a leak of what these two commanders' skills might be, and that should help us kind of understand maybe what some of those buffs for Egypt could be. I personally have some guesses as well, so I guess we'll just have to find out, won't we, Shappy Squad? So, with that, the first two commanders that we have that are new to the game are Imhotep, who's Blessings of the Nile, and Thutmose III, the Warrior King. Both are really cool figures historically, and the suspicion is that Thutmose is the legendary commander, and Imhotep is the epic commander. As you guys know, whenever you start a new account, you get one epic commander free just to start out. So with that, why don't we kind of go through what the leak says. It did come from a Korean Discord server where they were talking about it, or I think it was a Korean forum. And so let's look at that and see kind of what we got here. So with that, here it is. So the first skill says that the Intrepid Monarch, and this is for Tutmos III. Give me just a sec. The first skill for Tutmos says that it deals fixed damage up to 3 target units within the forward-facing fan, so that's, pretty standard, with a damage factor of 1,000, and when the target unit increases, the damage each target unit receives is reduced by 15%, so that's standard again, fan less than 15% for every target. It's great. In addition, the current goal is the next 5-second reduction in treatment effect, so I'm guessing that's healing. So we're seeing a healing debuff there for a number of seconds. And then the next is Pioneers of the Empire. Archer units' damage is increased by 15% and march speed is increased by 10%. Full damage inflicted when outside of Alliance territory is increased by 15%. So it's looking like Tutmos is going to be another Archer commander. I'm not terribly surprised there. Historically, and I'm not sure if you guys know, Egyptians fought from chariots with bows. Really cool history, but it's nice to see some more archers. Additionally, we have the Way of Mitanni. The defense of archers units in the field is increased by 10%, and the target has a 10% chance of attacking each time for 3 seconds. The buff effect increases the skill damage the target receives by 15%. This debuff is casted up to once every 8 seconds. So from an archer perspective, this is pretty good. You've got some march speed, and then you have damage, overall damage, which we love to see. I'm not quite convinced that he's going to be, game-changing and awesome. He may be, but from what I'm seeing thus far, it's not looking like it. The next skill is Vast Territory. The counterattack damage received by the tactical unit is reduced by 10%. And the target unit has a 10% chance of being attacked by 1 skill damage hit with a damage factor of 700, and this effect is also cast once every 8 seconds. So we're seeing a good deal of damage come out. There is a debuff, which is nice, and it should be pretty tanky, but again, not seeing this as being completely game-changing. And the last skill, which seems to be the expertise skill, is the Majesty of Thebes. It increases the damage of regular attacks inflicted by, I'm guessing this is the archer unit, by 30% after the skill is cast. Lasts 3 seconds, and the skill can be cast up to 1 time every second, apparently. So you guys are seeing this the same way I am. Again, this is a leak. This is not necessarily confirmed by Lilith, but I do think it's worth looking at and worth evaluating as we talk about these new commanders. I am pretty convinced that Thutmose is going to be a legendary commander, whereas Imhotep is probably going to be an epic commander. Additionally, I'm not surprised by them being archers at all. It's kind of been a while since we've gotten a new gold key archer commander. Right now, we really just have El Cid, who's El Cid. So I'm not surprised by that. What this probably means for Egypt, though, is that you're going to have some sort of an archer buff. If we look at the current civs, we can probably figure out what it might be, and I'm actually going to pull up the game in just a second. The next commander we're going to be covering is Imhotep. So he's an epic commander. If you're just starting the game, that's great. And up to 5 target troops in the surrounding circular range have a debuff effect for 3 seconds, increasing the damage the target receives by 20%. So that's actually pretty good. Kind of surprised that's a skill for an epic commander, but love to see it. Next one is going to be increases damage and defense by 15% for archer units. So that's another pretty good skill. Can't complain there. And when stationed in your own city, the health of your troops is increased by 7%. So that's a garrison skill. So maybe you'll see him with Herman. Saint of Peace gives the target a debuff effect for 3 seconds with a 10% chance that the command unit will be attacked to avoid the target's skill. Not sure what that means. Reduces damage taken by 15%, and the skill is cast up to 1 time for every 5, maybe seconds. You guys are reading it the same way I am. Again, this came from a Korean server and got translated to English, so it's not identical, but we do see a debuff there, and I'm not sure what the 10% chance the command unit will be attacked to avoid the target's skill is. So I guess we'll have to find out. The next one is Citadel of Skystairs. I guess this is the expertise for Imhotep. And that's up to 5 target troops in the surrounding circular range have a debuff effect for 3 seconds. This increases the damage the target receives by 30%. So that's pretty massive. It looks like this is probably a expertise pertaining to the first skill that we see there. So we do have that circular range debuff effect, which is nice. I can see Imhotep being used as one of those 1-troop debuffs that you're throwing at rallies to try and debuff them off the top. And when you're in charge of when this is the primary commander, is what I'm guessing, you reduce enemy rage by 50 for every 3 seconds. So very interesting. I'm not seeing anything like terribly archer focused on him. I'm guessing maybe it's he's going to be a leadership commander, which could be cool. But let's go in game and talk about how these commanders probably play with the existing commanders and what the civilization buff for Egypt is going to be. So with these two being the commanders that you're seeing, let's pull this up. So we have Rise of Kingdoms right here, and let's look at the current civilizations in the game. So we have Ottoman, which gives you archer health and troop march speed, which is awesome. We've got Byzantium, which gives you cavalry health. Arabia is cavalry. Spain is cavalry defense, and Korea is archer defense. Keep that in mind. Japan is normal troop attack. China is troop defense, infantry attack, troop health, and archer attack. So we already have archer attack, archer health, and archer defense covered. So my hunch is that this is probably going to be another archer defense. I would be surprised if it's not. I can't speak to whether it'll be troop training or march speed or anything like that. I have no idea. I do think that there's probably a gathering buff here, because if we go through here, we have, if they wanted to really make it Egypt, they should do stone gathering, but we already have that with Byzantium. So we got stone gathering there. Maybe it's gold gathering. That would be a good one. Let's see. Stone gathering. What do we have here? Resource production, no gathering. Hospital cap. General resource gathering, building speed, troop load, wood gathering, and then we have food gathering. I would be very, very curious to see if we get a gold gathering buff here. So I'm thinking we get archer defense, gold gathering buff, maybe we get a tech buff or a building speed. I mean, we know that Egypt was great at building, so those are my guesses probably for the 3. We'll have to see. But let's talk about some synergies that we'll probably see between these commanders. So again, we have Rise of Kingdoms up, and I also have their skills right next to me here. So if we take a look at Tutmos III, he is dealing AoE archer damage, which you love to see, and he has damage increased by 15% and march speed increased by 10%. And he deals more damage when he's outside of territory. So I'm thinking immediately, just looking at him, you're going to want to pair him with someone with defense. He does reduce his counterattack damage received, which you'd love to see. And he does have a defense buff. He's got the defense of archer units in the field is increased by 10%. And the target has a 10% chance of attacking each time for 3 seconds. So that's good. So, I don't know, maybe archer health. But he is AoE, so I'm not seeing him for a rally commander. So I would say not Gilgamesh. Definitely not El Cid. Maybe Nebu or Cyrus. I could see him being run with Nebu or Cyrus. Both are probably very versatile. I can't speak to what his skills are going to be, but if he's field, I'm thinking he'll probably be skill damage just because most of the AoE commanders that we have today do have a skill tree. Definitely going to be archer. And then that middle one is the big question. He's not conquering. I don't think he's going to be peacekeeping. At least I hope not. Let's see. What else could he be? He could be versatility. I think versatility is probably what we're going to see. I'm thinking archer, versatility, and skill. That would make the most sense. Is that what Cyrus is? No, Cyrus is support tree, I think, right? Let's see. Let's see here. I know I have Cyrus. There we go. Yeah, archer, versatility, and skill. So I think he's probably going to have the same setup as Cyrus, which means you're probably going to be able to run them interchangeably. I could see him going really well with Nebu or with Cyrus, I think. You may also be able to run him with Ramses if you're running multiple marches. So that's not bad. And he does increase the damage of regular attacks, which is nice. Then you've got the attack coverage here, whereas Thutmose has the defense coverage. So not bad. Not bad, Shappy Squad. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking for Tutmos III. Now let's talk about Imhotep. Imhotep, again, looks to be a leadership commander, so you're going to be wanting to run him with another leadership commander, which means, and let's see, I think I should be able to filter now. There we go, epic, sweet. So, he's not necessarily archer. Oh, he is archers. Increases damage and defense by 15% for general archer units. So I stand corrected. He is an archer commander, which means that you're probably going to want to throw him with Herman or Joan. And the reason I say that is Herman is, in my opinion, the best epic commander that you can have. He also does have the garrison buff that you're also seeing from Imhotep, which is nice. When stationed in your own city, for Imhotep, you get health of your troops increased by 7%. And for Herman, you get garrison and watchtower bonus of 7%. So that's pretty good. I see those two having really good synergy. Joan I like because you get the normal attack boost, which is always nice, and you get a buff. And so Imhotep, we saw that, debuff effect in a circle. Well, Joan, we see a buff effect, which is nice. So you could have a debuff buffer in the field, if you're not running all legendary commanders just yet. And what's nice about this is for Joan, you actually get 30% increased attack for archer units, which I believe is even more than you get with Herman. So just thinking of synergies, things you can run, different pairs, I would say that those two are probably going to be the ones that you're going to want to be running. Just depends on what your use case is. If you're trying to deal a lot of damage, I would go with Herman. If you're trying to have a support march in the field, I would go with Joan. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I think this is really exciting news. I'm pumped to see what the Egypt civilization is. If you are too, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button right over there and the bell so you get notified, because as soon as they release more details, I'll have a video for you. Next video will be linked above my head when it comes out. Shappy out.